Boom, abs tight, and lay down into position. So now you're down in position, ready to press. The next thing that you're gonna wanna do is get your feet set up properly. The wider your feet are from one another, the wider your base of support is, so the more weight that you'll actually be able to handle. You can either lay the opposite leg completely flat. This is your typical form, so you have the weight that you are going to press in one hand, and in the opposite of that hand, that's where the leg is completely flat. This is the form that you're going to use most often when the weight gets very, very heavy, because what's going to happen when it gets very heavy, if you do the second posture for the movement, which is both feet flat, what ends up happening is as you're pushing this weight, right, all of this cross tension that's coming from the opposite hip all the way through your abdominal into the pec that you're actually working, it's going to make you literally lift your leg, okay? Because you have so much tension coming from one side and your body's trying to even it out. So then you're either going to force your heel harder into the ground as to not lift it from the ground, or you're gonna just simply lay that leg flat. The next aspect of this is you're going to simply press the weight up in neutral fashion, meaning that my palm is facing my body versus my palm facing away from my body. So in other words, you don't want to press up like this. You want to keep your elbow and your arm as close to your torso as you can to press, because when you do that, you keep your shoulders safe. Now, once you get here, you're going to externally rotate your arm bone and get into the proper position. Make sure that the shoulder is driven into the floor. This creates stability for the muscle that we're going to be working, which is the pec, and it also keeps the shoulder safe. You also want to make sure that your abs are tight, okay? So when you are going to press, you're always going to activate your abs, or you're just going to keep them tight throughout the entire thing. Now, how do we do that? All we do is we flex our abs hard and we send our low back into the floor as hard as we possibly can. That's going to create a posterior pelvic tilt, engaging the abdominal, and again, creating more stability for you to press from. Now, on inhale, you lower your elbow to the ground, tap the elbow, and then press straight back up. Now, the key is when you press up, you don't come inside of your shoulder. What you want to do is you want to keep the weight outside of your chest, okay? What that does is it keeps the tension on the chest. In other words, there is no tension having the dumbbell directly above your shoulder, but having the dumbbell slightly outside of the chest and outside of the shoulder, that's where the tension is. You can literally feel it as the tension is pulling me away with gravity. Also keep in mind, anything that you touch, you increase the sensory of the movement. What that means is if you touch your pec, which is the muscle you're working, if you touch that insertion where your shoulder, okay, which is here, meets the pec, so right in the middle, if you touch this and you grab it even, you're going to feel the movement better. Again, low back into the ground, abs tight, shoulder driven into the floor. As you push up, you want to push it up neutrally, then externally rotate. We have the feet hips width distance, okay? And inhale and exhale. If we want to feel the movement better, we grab the muscle that's working. In this case, the dumbbell's in my right hand, so I'm going to really squeeze my right pec at the insertion point where the chest and the shoulder, they meet. Keeping the power block outside of the chest and the shoulder at all times to keep the tension on the working muscle, which is the pec. Now, when you're done, all you're gonna do is you are going to literally hand the dumbbell into the next hand, and then you're gonna get to business. Now when you're done, from the top, you drive the elbow down, keep it close to your torso, and then just let the weight go, okay? You're close enough to the ground where you're not gonna harm your power block or the dumbbell that you're using.